Hey, got something really cool I wanted to run by and let you know what's going on. So I'm starting a group that will start taking a deep dive into each one of these episodes. So we'll collectively come together and talk about the shows, talk about the guests. I'll be bringing back some of the guests to do some Q&A sessions and really take a further dive into their story, their journey, the episode, talk about, maybe some of the things you wish I would have asked on the episodes, do some Q&A sessions and the like. As a friend put it to me, it's really like a book club, but for the podcast. So a couple times a week, we'll go in, we'll break down the favorite shows of the week, and have cool discussions around everything that we've heard, we've learned, and want to know about their journey. Some of these guests will come in and they'll teach part of, what makes them awesome at what they do. And then, as always, I'll be providing regular value and content in this group. It's really cool because this only is going to cost $5 a month to join this group. And you'll be able to come in, interact with everybody else in there. So I'll put a link right in the show notes for this that you can jump in, come have a conversation with us, and we will really deep dive into each one of these episodes and help us all rise up together. Thanks for tuning in, guys. It's going to be a great show today. Having the show wasn't something I started out to do. But the day I found out somebody wanted to really sponsor the show was a really, really cool experience. So, guys, I want you to take some time to go check out Point Blank Safety Services and their new nonprofit, Blue Family Fund. These guys are doing some really, really cool things. And Stacy McGovern, who's the CEO over there, has been a dear friend, and she was a guest on the show. But these guys are literally taking, the off-duty officers and putting them out in security guard role. And here's what's cool about it is, as they're protecting our lives, they don't make a whole lot of money in that regard. No first responders are paid for the value they provide for our safety and our health and taking care of us. So these guys, Stacy and her team over at Point Blank Safety Services have really found a cool way to give back to these officers by helping them provide an additional income so they can continue to support and protect us. So do me a favor, guys. Seriously, go check out pointblanksafety.com and then go look at their nonprofit, which is Blue Family Fund. Now, this nonprofit was created because of the success of Point Blank Safety Services. They wanted to give back to the families of fallen officers and be able to give scholarships away to the families of current, police officers. So do me a favor. It would mean the world to me if you would go out and help support this show by supporting Point Blank Safety Services and their nonprofit Blue Family Fund. Just tell them Donnie has sent you. You heard it on Donnie Success Champions, and Stacy will take a tremendous and amazing care of you. Thanks, guys.
Hey, everybody. It is Friday. So grateful for these days, man. I'm excited to have this topic to cover, and, thanks for coming along for the ride. So today on Kick-Ass Fridays, I'm going to talk a lot about the power of gratitude, where I struggle with it, and how this whole movement of gratitude will change everything, why we struggle so much to actually pull it off, and the times that we need to. Welcome to Kick-Ass Fridays. Man, coming off the high of last week's 100th episode, it has been a wild ride. That episode got quite a few hits, and, I got to tell you, I'm really, 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 truly grateful for the number of people that just sent cool messages through Messenger, through email, people that just reached out. It was really fun also to have some of the people who reached out showing their gratitude. A lot of people got their first podcast episode ever being a guest on this show. And, I like the idea of being somebody's first. It's been really inspiring to hear all those stories. But I can tell you, because of the success of the show, I'm really excited how more and more people continue to reach out and want to share their stories, their journey, the things that they've been through. And it's just a cool experience. So we're going to talk about gratitude. And, I'm going to talk about my struggle with it and why it's such a difficult thing to pull off. And here's why I say it's a difficult thing to pull off. I'm a big believer, especially now being an entrepreneur, that you got to go through it. I mean, I really think that you've got to get punched in the face by life to learn anything. I mean, sure, you could sit down and read a book, okay? You can, listen to an audio. You can do a lot of things. But maybe I should put this on me. I don't learn it unless I do it, right? I don't learn it unless I do it and then screw it up, right? Because for me, otherwise, it's just a theory. It's a thought, right? We have our head wrapped around, this is how we think something should be, do, act, say. But it's not until we get the experience ourselves that we can understand what it is. And there's oftentimes when you're going through it, I'm going through it, that we may have the thought of, why the hell do I have to go through it? But it's in the moments of going through it that we discover who we are. It's flippin' wild. Jim Rohn, one of the greatest motivational philosophers of all times, the mentor to a lot of the greats today, has one of the most powerful statements that I've had to learn to embrace on my journey. And the statement is simply this: don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. And man, that is such a powerful statement, because often in my life, I found myself wanting the easy route, right? Wanting the shortcut, wanting the cheat codes to life. And I'll tell you, a lot of times I found just those. I was able to discover what the shortcuts were. And here's where I frustrate myself. Another point of struggling with gratitude is because I look for the shortcuts in life, I slowed down a lot of the great learning experiences that would have projected my life 100 times further and bigger than it is now. It's crazy to me to think that because I constantly wanted the short path, I wanted the easy route, that I thought it would absolutely be able to get me where I wanted to go. And what I realized is it actually had the complete opposite effect. 100% moved me in the wrong direction from where I wanted to be in life. The fastest way to grow in sales is through cold calls, doing walk-ins, getting really, really uncomfortable. But somewhere in my career, I found networking, which is an amazing way to sell. But it's also the slowest possible way to sell there is. And I found networking because it was easier than really going to be a sales guy. right? And it's moves like that, and that's a very simplistic move. But it's moves like that, choosing to go be a networker versus a cold caller type salesperson. It's those moves that I look back on frustrated because I took away that learning experience. I took away that fight to go through it. I'm looking at things now as I continue to embrace this idea of gratitude. And I'm starting to really look at the moments in my life where I had to step up because there was no choice. It's wild to force yourself to go through it, whatever that it is, so you can learn it, so you can become it. But most times we don't. You get into a financial crisis or bind, the first thoughts that run through a lot of people's head is, I wish I had more money. Right? Is, I wish my job would pay me more. I wish. And when we wish, we don't get anywhere because we are not learning what it takes to flip that thought process to, how do I get it? How do I create it? How do I build it? Instead, we're looking for an easy out. We're looking for a way to get our minds thinking, how to get the cheat codes. Bills are due, rent, mortgage is due, you owe vendors money, you have all this stuff going on, and all you want to do is say, damn it, just bring me money. Can't people see how awesome I am at whatever I'm doing? Instead of asking the right question of, wow, what can I do? What can I create? How do I go get? It's such a different mindset. And when you're coming from that mindset of, I wish I had more, you're leaning into the entire thought process that you're not good enough, that you can't do this. You're proving what people may have told you your entire life, that you're never going to amount. And it's frustrating even for me at this moment trying to explain this point. Because in the times in my life where I've had financial struggle, my mind went to, how do I go borrow money? How do I go get somebody to help me out? Well, here's the stupid thing behind that. When you want to go borrow money, when you want somebody to help out, you're immediately putting yourself further in debt. You're putting yourself further into a bigger mess. And that's why the payday loan companies and all of that make such money, because instead of people fighting to go further and do more, they're choosing the easy route and trying to get it done. Instead of choosing the easy route, look at your crap, look at your stuff and go, okay, what can I sell? What can I go do? Can I find an odd job? Can I build something? Can I move something? Can I create something? Right? And for me, as I continue to learn, I hope that thing you go create, move, build, whatever, I hope it blows to hell in smithereens. And the reason I say that is because it's in that moment that you keep pushing forward that the learning happens. It's not in the failure itself. It's not in the blowing up itself. It's actually when you get on the other side of it. That things happen. You know, guys, I grew up through my career listening to self-help books, listening to the gurus, listening to motivational people. And my thought was always, if I could feed my mind with enough positive stuff, if I could get my mind focused on enough positive things, then I would start figuring it out. Well, I can tell you, and this is going to be bizarre for me to say, but I can tell you those are the exact reasons I never made it. It's because that was the shortcut. That was the easier route. Reading a self-help book, reading a leadership book, reading a sales book, listening to one of these on tapes, going to a seminar was the shortcut. Because I could go do that versus doing what I needed to do. Reading those things, going to those things, they felt good. They felt like a learning experience. Well, guys, some of you were built just like me. You've spent your lifetime following gurus, listening to stuff, and trying to get better at yourself and trying to be more by trading the learning experience for the joy of reading these books and things. When the real learning comes in actually doing it, going through it. I don't even want to say it's necessarily the applying what you're learning. It's just about starting. You know, and people send me messages and they say, Donnie, I hear you. But how do we do it? Where do we start? What do I do? And that's what you should be studying. I have a client that I work with, and we were working on her business strategy. And she said, Donnie, you could tell me to cold call, you could tell me to network, you could tell me to do all of this, but how do I do it? And I could hear the frustration in her voice. And because it comes down to, I hear it, but I don't know what to do. To me, that's the first breakthrough, is understanding that you're at a spot that now you've got to, and I don't want to say the word take action because I think that confuddles it, but now is you've got to start moving forward. And so whatever that thing is in front of you, whether it's making more money, learning to network, learning to sell, learning to whatever, now you have to start trying something. I could tell you 100% without a doubt how to go network, right? I could tell you 100% without a doubt how to go sell. Right? Let's do that really quick. Network. Jump on Google. Jump on Google. Type in the word business networking. And in your area, you're going to top up a bunch of networking groups and events. And go. Right? There's network. 101. Go. Go, shake some hands, meet some people, get some business cards, follow up on those business cards, rinse, wash, repeat until you figure out networking. I mean, I've got entire episodes on networking if you want, but that's the gist, okay? And you can read hundreds of books on networking. You can read hundreds of audio tapes on networking. You can read all this stuff on networking, but you're not going to figure out what works for you until you get in the game. Go. Right? So here's a plan. Go get this week, next week, Find 3 networking groups to attend. Get 6 contacts total from all those networking groups. Go get all those people down to a cup of coffee and see what happens. Right? Sales. You want to get in sales? Spend Sunday afternoon coming up with a list of key targets of people. Jump on LinkedIn and find everybody who would be the perfect prospect for your company. Make a list of 100 names, their name and phone number. On Monday, call every single one without skipping. 100. Every single one. And then you keep calling back until you get them on the phone. Guys, it's really that simple. It's the doing. But we're trading those learning experiences for the cheat codes, the easy route. You're choosing not to go through the things you need to go through to try and learn something more. And it goes back to, you need more money, then go get more money. That is not borrow money. That's not asking mom and dad for money. That's go put yourself into it so you can get it. Every time in my life when I have been stacked up against it, and every fear that I could possibly conjure up is going to come true, I find a way. That, my friends, is a shitty way to live. Going through it to find a way, going through life, waiting till you're stacked up against it, it's just a tough way to go. Because you're constantly going to be making maneuvers to get to that point to where you have to fight or lose it all. And, dude, that's how I've dealt with my entire journey, is I've got to put myself in it. And I've got to slough off long enough till somebody comes and says, Donnie, you got to do something or pivot. Or bills come due, and Donnie, you got to do something or you lose it, And that is flippin' frustrating. That, my friends, is the exact moment when those times happen that you got to find gratitude. And it's also the time when it's most difficult. It's when you are faced with your worst nightmare that you've got to try and find it. And I can't tell you how. I'm sure there's 100 gurus that have all of these thought processes and sayings and everything. But I can tell you, when I am against a wall and it's tough and the world feels like it's crashing around you, I'll have 2 things battling in my head, and one is, holy shit, you're going to lose it all. The other one is, you got this. And I see it in my head like 2 monsters battling it out in my head of, how do I go? And it's like the story of the 2 wolves. Whichever one you feed wins the battle. When you are moving through your journey, when you choose to not go at the thing that you know you should be doing, you're choosing that easy path. You're choosing that easy learning. You're choosing to take the shortcut. Don't wish it was easier, guys. Wish you were better. Right? Because every time you take the easy road, every time you take the shortcut, every time you finish up your day and you look back and realize you didn't do anything, you chose the easy route. Don't choose the easy route, man. Choose the tough road. I mean, as I continue to build this business, I will sit down at my computer and start building things. And I'm like, oh my God, I know I need these courses. I know I need these programs. I know I need these groups. I know I need to get more content. I know I need to develop. I know I need more speaking engagements. I know I need to do all this stuff. And it's a lot. It's a ton. And you sit down at the computer and my mind goes to this place of, man, if I just had somebody to come in and do X. There's some truth in that, but it's also the shortcut, right? Your businesses, your careers, your everything is not built on shortcuts. If it is, it will crumble. It will fall. It will not work unless you go through it. I'm sure frustrating for a lot of you guys is financially you're not in the spot that you want to be in. You're not in that place you want to get to. And the truth is, the only way to get there is to go through it. You can sit down all you want and say whatever mantra, do journaling, do all this stuff, do everything. And I've done it all. But unless you go through it, it's never going to break loose because you're going to continue to take the shortcuts. You're going to continue to try and take the easy routes. And you know you've got to do something, go do it. Because look, I get it. A lot of you can't afford to hire somebody to do whatever you need done. Go learn how to do it. Right? In learning how to do it, it's like you're adding armor to you. You're adding another level to you by going through it. You see these salespeople that bounce from job to job to job to job. And it has nothing to do with the companies they're working for. Now, I will say that if you're not passionate about something, very hard to sell it. Okay? But you don't have to be passionate to sell it. The trick is you don't want to go through it. They don't want to go through it to get good at it. And I'm not going to go through the reasons why you don't want to go through it, the fear of success and all of that, because who cares? The truth is, you got to do the thing you don't want to do. And you got to force yourself to work on the stuff that you don't want to work on. Because if you don't go through it, you're going to look back in your life and go, why did I never make it? That's what I've learned. 41 years of my journey. And all along that journey, man, I saw myself on major stages. I saw myself inspiring thousands. I saw myself just going huge. And I'm on that path. But I never understood why I was never bigger than I had gotten to. I never understood why it wouldn't go as big as it could. Why did I always hit these blocks? Why did I only go so far? And it comes back down to I didn't want to go through it. I was looking for the freaking shortcuts. And the greatest breakthroughs in my life have been the times when I couldn't find a shortcut and I had to go through it. I mean, I remember a time when I was looking at losing my house, losing my truck, losing all of my stuff. I did not have enough money coming in to have it all figured out. And the thought process was, I could go sell something that wasn't mine, belonged to another family member with their permission. And that would be the answer. Is I would sell something of somebody else's person's stuff with their permission, and that would get me the money. That's the shortcut. The answer was I had to go sell more. I had to put myself out there more. So what did I do? I put myself out there more. I did more calls. I did more social media driving. I did more stuff. I changed my mindset from a mind of lack and you're going to lose it to let's figure it out. I learned more in that moment of figuring out how to make this work. And guys, I tell you, I was spending 24 hours damn near. I mean, I was sleeping like 2 to 3 hours for 3 to 4 days. And I'm not telling you it's about sleep deprivation. I'm telling you it's about staying 100% in that moment, forcing yourself to figure it out. Doing everything you can possibly do to generate revenue in a time like that, generate money coming into your company. And it's amazing when you do that, you realize how much in your lifetime you just didn't work. You didn't put in the hours. You didn't put in the time. You didn't put in what you needed to put in to become who you need to become. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better. So my thoughts on gratitude are really this. Yes, be thankful. Yes, be grateful. I've got the greatest parents on the face of the earth. I've got the most beautiful, strongest wife on the face of the earth. My family is awesome. I've got some of the greatest friends that have helped me push through and get through this. And I've got 3 guys that through this journey have consistently reached out to me. And that is what I'm grateful for. That is what I love. Is everybody who's watching my journey, all you guys listening as I continue to go along, it's that, man. It's the people that are reminding you that you got this. That's when gratitude's a thing. When I was going through tough times, dude, I forced myself to go to things that I didn't want to go to. I forced myself to get out into meetings and situations and places that I didn't want to go to. My shortcut mind was focused on how do I do other things but what I needed to do to get money coming in. And by forcing myself through, I broke through. Because it's in those moments that everything happens. I ended up at an event in the middle of all the chaos where my mind was doing nothing but racing on how do I save this? How do I keep this? How do I move forward? And it helped me force my mind to stay focused on the right things, which was how do I grow this? And here's the interesting thing. Sometimes as we're going through it, it's tough to go it alone. And when you can get around other people that have encouraged you, that have pushed you forward, and I'm not talking about the Debbie Downers that want to be in the shit with you. I'm not talking about the people that want to, when you have the mindset of I'm broke, I can't do this. I'm not talking about the people that are like, yeah, me too. Life sucks. Those aren't the people. What I'm telling you is the people that are going through it and are encouraging you. The people that see you in the stronger light. The people that get it because they've gone through it. To that point, that's what they mean by you become who you surround yourself with. Is you've got to be around the people that are going through it too. And I mean really going through it. This is something I've learned as I've been as an entrepreneur. Is hanging out with other entrepreneurs has been wild because they're doing it too. They're going through it too. And when you have conversations, there's this understanding in that conversation that I never had before with a lot of people, and it's really, really, really cool. But when you sit across from that person and you're like, God, I'm going to lose it all. Life sucks. It's horrible. And they're like, I know life sucks. It's horrible. I can't stand it. You're feeding the wrong one. You're feeding the wrong monster. You got to get around the people that when you're fighting that monster, when you're fighting that monster of self-doubt and shortcuts and everything, when you get around somebody who's going through it and trying to make something of it for you, they won't let you get there. They're going to offer advice. They're going to offer solutions, right? They're going to force you to shift your mindset. And every time I've gotten conversations with these type of people, it's helped me stay focused on the right thing. And when you feed the monster of going through it, it beats the hell out of the shortcut guy. You can't keep looking for the shortcut routes. You can't keep looking for the easy way of doing things. You got to put yourself in a position to really, really go through it. Gratitude isn't about just saying, I'm grateful for X. It's about the emotion behind that gratefulness. It's like affirmations and mantras and sayings and quotes. They're just words. If you don't feel raw emotion behind the phrases and sayings, there's nothing there. You got to understand it. You've got to feel it. Right? And that's why you have to go through it. Because without going through it, you will not learn it. And I am grateful, so grateful for the people in my life that wouldn't let me take the shortcut. that wouldn't let me try and take the easy route, that helped push me into a spot to learn it. As my dad told me the other day, it's in those moments when you can't take the shortcuts that you find another gear. And I think that's the answer. Is you're moving through life staying in one gear your entire journey. Shift up because you got a whole lot more gears to go. You just haven't pushed them yet. You just haven't gone after them yet. You haven't tried. Go through life. Go through your journey. And get yourself into situations where you have to push through. Don't avoid them. Don't brush them off. Force yourself into them. People will tell you, do the thing you fear. And that's part of it. And that's part of it. But you gotta know what you fear first. You gotta know what scares the crap out of you first. And the only way to do that is to start. Start doing something. Don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Guys, start fighting. Start going for it. Start becoming that person you know is there. I know the self-doubt is sitting right alongside of it. I know on one hand you see yourself as greatness and you see yourself as doing phenomenal, awesome things. And on the other hand, that sounds like a lot of damn work. Both answers are right. It is a lot of work. And I'm not going to tell you that you fall in love with what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. Because most people don't know what the hell they love to do. But I can tell you for sure that if you hate what you do, you're going to feed the shortcut guy all day long. My dad, I think, told me this, but it's money can't buy you happiness, but being broke will sure make you miserable. Hating what you do works the same way. Knowing what you love to do may buy you happiness. It may help you figure out joy in life. It may help you with gratitude. But doing what you hate, I guarantee you'll never find it. The episode with Dom B pops in my head at this moment because that dude learned success by saying yes. Going through just some crazy times. If you want to listen to an episode about just going for it, go listen to Dom's episode. But that's it. He learned so many great lessons in life by saying yes and continuing to push forward that, you know, he had no choice but to find success. And that's it. You gotta go through it. You gotta push. And the fastest way to find anything is to do the thing you don't want to do. That's it. This episode was fun to put together, but it's frustrating at the same time because it is so difficult to explain this. I mean, I've heard this type of stuff my entire life. I've heard guys on stage say this. I've heard books say it, audio tapes say this. Is everything. But I don't think you'll fully understand it until you get yourself there. And there's going to be that point when you're continuing to go for it. Guys, when I say go for it, I mean really doing it, really taking the actions, really getting in the game and doing stuff. When you start doing stuff, you're going to find that moment when the shortcut guy is going to step forward and the opportunity to learn is going to be right there. And you're going to have to choose a path. And I promise you, if you continue to choose the shortcuts, then you are going to spend the rest of your life paycheck to paycheck. Rest of your life frustrated about finances. Rest of your life frustrated about you. Go through it, guys. And push through those hard times. And get it done. Go big and loud, guys. Kick some ass. And I love you guys. I really do. I really appreciate you listening to the show. I really appreciate your support. I really appreciate the emails. I appreciate the messages and the things you guys send me. Thank you for being you. I'm grateful for you. Run like hell. Wow, guys, what another cool episode. Really enjoyed that one, and gratitude has been such a game changer for my business, and learning these lessons have been phenomenal. But I gotta tell you, and I love to say this, is, podcasting completely saved my business, and it completely transformed my ability to learn on a lot more faster level, and it's gotten me a hell of a lot more opportunities. And I really encourage you to jump in with this and start your own podcast journey. There's a Facebook group we launched called So You Want a Podcast. And it's a free group on Facebook. We'll put a link for it in the show notes. But it's really about learning how to get into podcasting. It's the only place where you get a platform to talk about whatever you want to talk about and really drive what you're passionate about. And in that group, we're teaching step by step how to start, how to talk about it, how to get into it and just have conversations about podcasting so you can learn to get in the game. So come hang out with us. And So You Want a Podcast on Facebook. It is a fun group that we're all rising up together and learning as we continue to move forward. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in there.
Guys, really thank you for listening to this episode. I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun putting these together. I wanted to make sure before we get out of here that you knew what we were doing with social content. What we found was because of the podcast, we have a unique way of helping you get your social content out on a very easy way. What we're doing is we're interviewing people. And from that interview, we will capture a lot of information that will then be turned into videos, memes, articles, all things you can use for your social content. I know, like for me, one of the biggest struggles I had was, what do I put out there? What do I say on a regular basis? Well, we'll help do all that for you. So if this is at all of interest to you, reach out to us and let us help you grow your social media channel. I can tell you I did this for my business, and my social media is completely taking off. My Instagram, since I started doing this, jumped to over 10,000 followers, and it continues to grow. So if this is at all of interest to you, check the bottom of the show notes for the link that says, Get My Social Content Done right now.